And now, a Buddy Check 13 reminder with News 13's Amy Hoyt.
Good afternoon and welcome to 13 Now. I'm News 13's Amy Hoyt, and we're coming to you live from our studios in downtown Panama City. As you know, once a month, we always send out a reminder for Buddy Check, to check for breast cancer, to check for lumps in your breast, and a reminder to get mammograms if you're 40 or older. We always bring you a special guest, someone who is here to tell us about their journey after being diagnosed with breast cancer. So let me introduce you to our guest today. She is a Bay County resident and a nurse practitioner in her own right. Please welcome Kim Gore. Kim, it's good to have you here today.
Hi, Amy.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
All right. Now, your diagnosis and your journey with cancer started just about a year ago. Let's start with what you found, which was skin cancer first.
Correct. I noticed I had a skin cancer. That's the field I work in. I noticed I had a skin cancer on my shoulder. I had it removed in my office, and within a couple months, it came back. Long story short, we had to have it removed again, and it came back a little bit more aggressive than the pathology came back a little bit more aggressive than we had anticipated. So I requested to be sent to oncology just as a precaution. While I was waiting to get to my oncology appointment, it took about a month. I found a lump almost on my sternum, which didn't really concern me. It was concerning enough that I felt like I needed to maybe just keep an eye on it, follow up on it. But breast cancer was never even a thought.
Because you have no family history.
I have no family history.
So you find this lump while you're waiting for information on the skin cancer. Mm-hmm. And where do you go from there? How quickly do you get in to get that checked?
So it took me about a month to get in with oncology. And when I got there, that doctor, we ordered a PET scan just to make sure I didn't have something else going on that was causing the skin cancer. We knew this lump was here on my chest, but again, we figured it would show up on the PET, and just sort of go from there. That took a few more weeks because we didn't really feel like there was a sense of urgency. We knew we needed to do it, but it wasn't imperative it be done right away. So I had a PET scan, and everything looked great with the exception of that spot.
But that doesn't tell you it's breast cancer, right? A PET scan?
It did not, no. When I went for my follow-up, my oncologist, he said he would like to have it removed, and I agreed. I wanted it out. We were thinking maybe cancer, but there are other things that can show up on a PET scan. But he recommended Dr. Allison Moody here in Bay County, even though he's in Destin. He recommended her, and so we started the process of getting in with her.
All right, and so now she sees it, and does she think it's breast cancer?
She did.
Yeah.
But that was even before I had any biopsies of it done. In my initial consultation, just the way the skin was laying and just...
Was it in a weird spot?
It was. It was more...
You say your sternum.
Correct.
Right?
It was more on my sternum right here versus where you would expect to find it, which is in your breast. It was right on the edge of that breast tissue.
Did you end up with a mammogram?
Yes. I had several. I got caught up in that breach they had at Ascension. So I had some scans done in Destin, and they couldn't share them with Bay County. So I had multiple scans done. And I'd had a mammogram about a year prior to, and it hadn't shown in that either.
So you were conscious of breast cancer when you turned 40, I assume, and started having mammograms?
Correct.
Because you're in the medical field, so I guess we kind of assume, but you did do what you were supposed to do.
Correct, I did, yes.
All right. So now the diagnosis comes in and they say, well, it's breast cancer. Where do you go from there?
Well, I opted for a double mastectomy right out of the gate. As soon as I found out I had breast cancer, I had some options. Mine was driven by hormones, estrogen and progesterone, 100% on both. So it wasn't as aggressive as I know some of the guests you've had on your show. But I opted immediately to just have a double mastectomy. And so we got the ball rolling for that.
And when was that?
I had a mastectomy July 26th, so recent.
Oh, wow. And now you, and how was that? I mean, you didn't go through any chemo or anything?
I do not have to do chemo.
Because of the double?
Because I did, yeah. Well, and because of the type that I have. So my pathology, it didn't indicate it as in the size, the location. I had clear lymph nodes when, we checked my lymph nodes when I went in for my mastectomy, and my lymph nodes were clear. When the results came back in, however, I did not have clear margins on my left breast at the dermis, which is where we had found that lump. So I had to go back in for another procedure 3 weeks later, with more anesthesia. And so we made sure we had clear margins. So I don't have to do radiation now either.
Okay. So you took both breasts off.
Took both off.
Okay. And you have a teenage son and daughter?
I do.
How are they through the process?
So that was my biggest concern. It makes me almost want to cry just thinking about it. I'm a single mom. I'm the primary caretaker. They don't really have a lot of involvement with their father. It's me and my family. So they were you make me cry just thinking about
they
the
were
kids.
Your support. Sure. They came through for you.
I was worried about them more so than I was about myself. They're great. They're good. I'm good.
They took care of you?
They took care of me. My parents came. I have a huge support system of friends here. I was very surprised. People came out of the woodwork, and I was pretty private about it. People didn't know that I was going through this.
And your parents both alive? Yes, they're both here. Okay.
My grandmother's still alive.
Oh, wonderful!
She's 101.
Oh, God bless her. That's fabulous. I hope she's watching.
Yeah, she's in New York, so probably not.
Hey, that's okay. Oh. The
Are
internet,
you up there?
It's worldwide.
Well, I'll send it to her either way.
Through America. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it worldwide, Spencer? Yes, it is. The World Wide Web. Okay, we're getting off track here. So you did have a good support group.
I did.
Do you worry about your daughter now? Because now it becomes a family history.
Now it's a family history, but I did have genetic testing, which was all negative. So, and males can get breast cancer as well as females. It's not as common, but males do need to be aware of it as well. So if, my daughter and my son, they'll be screened, but now they're not as any more likely now than I would have thought they were in the past.
Right. And they're still young.
They're young, 17 and 21.
Oh, okay. 17, 21. Okay. So you do have one adult.
He just turned 21.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy birthday. All right. And let's talk about reconstruction. You're going to have that.
Yes. I'm scheduled for reconstruction in December.
Okay. And where did you have all your procedures done? You started in Bay County, obviously.
I started in Bay County. Dr. Moody works with a surgeon out of Louisiana on Fridays in Destin. And so that's where I had my mastectomy. Both surgeons were in the office for that, or in the OR for that. They also were both there for my second procedure. And his name is Dr. Hugo St. Hilaire, and he will be there. He's the one doing my reconstruction in December.
In December. So you'll just go back in a couple of months.
Correct.
What's the recovery like on that?
On the reconstruction or on the mastectomy?
Both. Let's start with the mastectomy.
The mastectomy, they had to take a little bit of muscle on mine because the tumor was right in line with the muscle, and they weren't sure if it had penetrated. So we took a little bit of muscle, and my lymph nodes were, I guess, fairly deep. So this side was a little sore. It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. It's not something I would ever sign up for to do for fun. No. I wouldn't recommend it, but it could have been a lot worse.
The drain tubes, did you have to go through all that?
I had tubes for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what do you expect with the reconstructive surgery? That reconstruction, the downtime will be a little bit less. I was down from work for about 6 weeks because my job is somewhat physical. I'm on my feet all day. I move my arms a lot. Reconstruction will probably be about 3 weeks of downtime, but I'm hoping that I don't have drains. Right. I guess we'll find out when I leave the OR. But yeah, we're anticipating no drains. Now, you had said a few minutes ago that you kind of kept this private.
I did.
When you first started. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to come and speak out now?
Leslie Jones asked me to.
Our former breast cancer survivors who has been on the program, and she's wonderful, and she recommended you. And
Yeah, she and I are neighbors. She lives around the corner from me. And so I watched her going through this whole process, and we got to know each other, actually. She didn't even know I was going through this until after, maybe a month ago is when she found out. So,
And does it make you feel better now that it's out there you can answer questions for future friends or family members who are diagnosed maybe?
yeah, I never really cared if people knew. I really wanted my family to be well informed before I let other people know. I don't ever mind talking about it, but I didn't want to be. I didn't want people to identify me as this, and I didn't want people to think of me as being sick. So that was my main reason. I had a job to do. I want to go to work, and my job is to focus on other people. I didn't need to go into work and make it all about me. So
Now, tell me a little bit. I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions. Well, I've got you here. It's like free advice about the skin cancer.
yeah.
Do we see more and more of that since you're in a dermatology office?
I see a lot of it. I don't know if our screenings are getting better, or I'm not really sure why, but things are cyclical. We see certain types of skin cancers, it seems, different times. I work at Sun Dermatology, which is right around the corner from here. We always recommend people have routine skin exams at least once a year, and it should, changes if you've had a skin cancer or what type of skin cancer. We increase the frequency, and even again self exams. You pay attention to your skin.
Yeah, and wear sunscreen because we live in Florida.
We live in Florida,
Yeah.
and a lot of people complain they don't like sunscreen, but, hats and sunglasses and long sleeve shirts, all of those things help. Anything
helpful.
you can do to prevent or to protect your skin is beneficial.
Now, yours wasn't melanoma.
Mine was not melanoma, no.
So you went from having skin cancer to breast cancer.
Correct.
Yeah. How did you deal with it? Like personally, like going through your mind, like were you nervous or were you just kind of proactive with it because you're in the medical field and you see it every day?
Yeah, I was with the breast cancer. For both skin cancer, this was not my first time. I've had maybe 30 skin cancers. I'm fair skin, red hair, which doesn't help. I grew up in Florida outside. I'm used to that part. I am proactive, though. I pay attention to my skin. I get my skin exams, and I take care of it when it needs to be taken care of. The breast cancer, I knew my prognosis was good. The type I had, it's 99% survivable, but you can't leave it. You have to take care of it. And I think just being your own advocate is huge. If things fall, if you don't advocate for yourself, things can fall through the cracks. I was more worried, like I said, about my family than I was about myself. So,
Any other advice you would give someone who might be diagnosed with breast cancer?
don't delay in your treatment. Be your own advocate. Don't think that everybody knows everything. If you have questions, feel free to ask questions, whether it's of somebody who has had cancer of any kind or your doctors. You're always welcome to get another opinion. If you're not comfortable with something, speak up. If you see something that doesn't seem right, it might not be. So, just be your own advocate. Look out for your friends, look out for your family, and, just be proactive.
And after your reconstructive surgery in December, you can't have a mammogram anymore because you had the double mastectomy. So what's your follow-up?
I have just started recently a medication. It's an estrogen blocker that they anticipate I'll be on for about 5 years. So
It's a
with
pill?
that, it's a pill.
Is it a pill?
Mhm.
Okay.
I take it every day, one pill every day, as long as I tolerate it well. And so far, it seems to be just fine. Anything that you take, there's always, you see those warnings on the
side
commercials.
effects.
There's always a risk for side effects. So, there's some things that we're looking at, possibly hysterectomy down the line. I'm done having children, so that's not a concern for me. And then just routine follow-up with my physicians.
And you're back to work.
Oh, I'm back to work, yeah.
Back to work. Keeping you busy.
Always.
All right. Well, Kim Gore, we sure appreciate you coming out and sharing your story with us. And I know you've touched a lot of lives today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's the reminder for you, a very big reminder to check for lumps in your breasts. And again, it doesn't get as many men, but it does still. So wives can remind their husbands or their boyfriends or their sons or brothers to check as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.